Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Vintage Motocross Q&A. I'm your host, Joe Abadi. We've got a wonderful show lined up for you this evening. We're going to get down to the starting line, and I'm going to tell you all about it. The starting line, of course, is sponsored by Vmxq. We're going to be talking more about Vmxq products a little bit later on in the show. Some of the segments we're going to be doing tonight, we have a What's It Worth segment. We're going to be taking a look at a 1976 Husqvarna 125. Also, a 1979 Honda CR250 that was sent in to us by Rob Wilhelm. But this isn't just your ordinary CR250. This bike has an amazing Mugen kit on it, a swing arm, NOS Fox air shocks. It's got so much stuff on it, you're not going to believe it. I'm really looking forward to bringing you more information on that. Also, in the Here's the Problem segment, we're going to be taking questions throughout the week, and we've got a couple that are pertaining to some vintage works bikes, so I'm looking forward to showing you that segment as well tonight. Of course, our sponsors, Vmxq, Preston Petty, AMSOIL, and Metro Racing. I want to thank them all right now. We're going to be talking more about their products throughout the episode tonight. Stick around for that. Trivia contest. It's that time again, Jordan. This week, we're giving away an autographed Preston Petty number plate, compliments of Preston Petty products. A little bit later in the show, we'll have a question for you. We'll give you a phone number that you can call in, and you're going to get a chance to win an autographed Preston Petty number plate. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, just like you do every week at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. What I'd like you to do right now is to share this video. Invite some people in to see it. It's real easy to do. Just hit the share button, get some people to come over. We'll grow the show a little bit more. And nothing happens when you hit that share button. Just other people see it, and they'll come over and join us here and watch the show. Next time, try this. This is a segment where I give you a little tip on something that I think will be helpful to you. This is, of course, brought to you by Metro Racing. Go to metro.com. We'll talk more about their products a little later on as well. But right now, I want to talk to you about fork seals. Changing them, well, it can be difficult if you don't have the right tools. Sometimes you just don't have the right tool. As you can see in this picture right here, they give you a few different examples of the way you could do it. The first one on top, the sketch, shows a screwdriver and a guy trying to pry out the oil seal. It's not a real good way to do it. It can work, but it's not very efficient, and it doesn't always work. The one on the left-hand side where it says fork slider, you can do it with that, but not everybody has a fork slider, and you can tell right where the guy's fingers are in the picture, there's not a whole lot of leverage on it. Now, before I get a little bit more into this, the whole point of it, of course, is to get the fork seal out of the fork, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. Right here is something you want to look out for, though, because this is what happens when you do it with the wrong tool. Jordan, could we go to the AMSOIL camera? Okay, thank you. Right here, you can see a chip. What happens is somebody is going to pry down on that seal trying to get it out with the wrong tool, and they're liable to chip the fork just like you see it here. This happens to be a Montesa fork. The wall of the lower fork leg is very, very thin. Over here, you can see this is a Honda lower fork leg. It's from a CR125. It's a whole lot thicker, but sometimes it's just as difficult, maybe more so, to get the fork seal out. So what I recommend is this. You're going to put your fork seal, your fork, in a vise. You're going to secure it. It's going to have to be secured to where you can't touch it, because you're going to be using a little bottle of MAP gas just like this, and you're going to heat up right around the edge from the outside of the fork leg, and then you're going to put something in there like this. This is a pry bar I've had around the shop forever, but you're going to get it in there. Once you get that leg, that lower area, warmed up, it doesn't have to be boiling hot, and of course you don't want to melt the rubber seal that's in there. You just want to get it warmed up, move it around there. You're going to put your pry bar in there like that, and it's going to pop right up as easy as could be. So if you don't have any special tools to get fork seals out, and it's something that you need to take care of right away, with a bottle of MAP gas and a pry bar like that, or a real long screwdriver, you'll be able to get that fork seal out. Just remember to protect the edge of the lower fork leg like this. What you could do is put a little piece of metal across there, or a piece of plastic, even a rubber inner tube, something that's going to absorb some of the pressure that's coming through from the pry bar. So, next time, why don't you try that? Jordan, what's the next segment? Metro Racing, March Madness continues at Metro Racing. They have all sorts of specials going on pants, on jerseys, up to 40% off. $100 pairs of pants, you can get them for $60. They've also got lighters and blankets and mugs and all sorts of things that they have on sale. But this is only during the month of March, so go down to metro.com in Brackney, Pennsylvania. Peg and Don would be happy to hear from you. And speaking of Don Miller, here he is on this amazing trike he's been working on lately. Sadly, Don Miller had a mild heart attack just 2 days ago. He's doing great. They put some stents in him, and Donzilla Don Miller is going to be back in business in just a short amount of time. But till then, you might want to drop Don an email, wish him well, let him know you're thinking of him. Don and Peg Miller, one of the greatest couples in the business from Metro Racing. I wish you both very well. Don, make a comeback. I know you could do it, brother. In the Moto Showcase tonight, a 1979 Honda Mugen 360 that was sent in by Rob Wilhelm from Traverse City, Michigan. This bike is absolutely off the hook. Not only is it done perfectly in a sense of a restoration, but with the aftermarket parts he has on there, the bike just turned out spectacular. You can see right here in the picture, he's had the gold anodized rims, which were absolutely perfect for that time period. He had a custom-made aluminum tank also made for the bike. From what he tells me, the swing arm was made by Masafumi Haraguchi from Japan, a man who certainly has a talent and knows about this type of motorcycle. The Fox forks are the real deal. Just those forks alone, I know for a fact, are valued at about $3,500. There's titanium all throughout this bike. You can see some here in the wide foot pegs. He's done something also with the torque arm. And of course, if you look closely, you can see the difference between what a stock cylinder would look like and of course, that giant Mugen 360 cylinder that sits on top of those cases. A little more detail we can see here. He mentioned, Rob did, that the shocks were NOS. And look at that airbox, the way he's painted that. It's supposed to be black. Well, not supposed to be. It was black on a stock 79. But he's painted it red, and he's done an absolutely incredible job down to the logos on the seat, the aluminum silencer. Rob Wilhelm, I love absolutely everything you've done about this bike. And while I couldn't get it transferred to a slide for this show, Rob sent me something in a text message when he sent me pictures of the bike, and he sent some pictures to Marty Smith, and Marty Smith absolutely loved this bike and said it looked as good as anything that he had back in 1979 that came out of the crate. So that must be a great feeling for Rob Wilhelm to hear from Marty about that. And it's a wonderful thing, Rob, that you've sent us pictures of this beautiful Mugen 360. For doing that, we're going to be sending you a nice sticker package from fastguystuff.com. And I welcome other people as well, if you're watching this, to get us some pictures of your bike. It doesn't have to be a race bike, a show bike. It could be anything that's special to you. If we think it's right, we'll get it on the show and send you some stickers from fastguystuff.com. Here's the problem. This segment is where we take some questions throughout the week and we take some time to do a little research, answer them here on the air. Let's see what we got coming up first. Mike Conley. Mako 490 fork caps are held in with circlips and have an O-ring, which I think are trash. What are the Trick 490s using instead? If non-air cap, how much stiffer do the springs need to be? Mike, I went to one of the brighter people in the Mako industry that I know. His name is Fritz Gunther. He's up there in the Northwest. He was a very talented machinist and a metallurgist, and Makos are his passion. Now that he's retired, he's building some beautiful bikes and he's racing them up there. So I went to Fritz Gunther for the question, and also Todd Kohlmeister helped out a little bit. So Mike, what I'm going to do is read to you exactly what Fritz told me you should do. First of all, the fork caps and 490s, they work great. I've never had an issue with mine or with any customer's bikes. They are elegant in their design and they're simple. As long as the correct O-ring is used and sealing surface is clean and free of burrs. The Mako 42mm fork works fine without air. I only use air on the really rough tracks, 3 to 5 pounds. I recommend to my customers when I'm tuning the 81 forks to get the proper spring rate for their weight and riding ability. Install them with a 10 to 15mm preload. You can make that spacer out of something as simple as PVC pipe. Start with 15 weight oil 6 inches down from the top of the tubes with the springs out and the forks collapsed. If the compression and rebound action is too slow or sluggish, then go to 10 weight oil. Conversely, if the fork action is too quick, go to a 20 weight oil. If you're bottoming out hard, then add oil. Set the level at 5.5 inches from the top tube. Just to follow up, since the air volume and pressure are low, it's imperative to use no loss suspension pump with a gauge that is from 0 to 30 psi range for good resolution. I also recommend the RT emulators, that's Racetech RT emulators for faster and more aggressive riders. The emulators allow you to use a lighter oil and offer much better bottoming resistance. Mike Conley, I hope that answers your question. It was really involved, and if anybody would like to know more about that or have me type out and post it here in the group, all that information that came from Fritz Gunther, I'll be happy to do that for you. But Mike Conley, I hope that answers your question about air forks and the Mako 490. Nick Ryan, what's the best replacement handlebar for a Yamaha AT1 or CT1 Enduro? Well, here's what I would recommend, Nick. I went on eBay and I saw a seller called iMerrily. $29.95, and iMerrily says that these handlebars are the correct bend for a CT1 or an AT1. Now, they're in Thailand, just as I put here. Shipping is $39. That's true. I've purchased seat covers from iMerrily, and I was very, very happy with the quality of the product. They also ship within a week. So if the bend is correct, which is very, very difficult to find on any vintage bar here in the States, if the bend is correct, I really, really think it's worth the $70 to give it a shot. So go on eBay, look up iMerrily, and you'll see what they have for sale there. They have other bars and other bends too. I saw them for DTs and ITs as well. Thanks for sending in the question. Glenn Greer, what's your take on spark plugs? Do you use resistor or non-resistor type plugs? Older CDI or point systems don't seem to like the resistor type plug. Glenn, you didn't really tell me what bike you were talking about using a resistor plug or a resistor plug cap on, so I don't really know. What I do know is this. Bikes, especially vintage bikes, and most motorcycles, don't really require a resistor cap. Resistor caps were invented mostly for automobiles to keep the current from reacting to the radio and other things in the car. Why somebody would use a resistor cap on a single-cylinder dirt bike, I'm not really sure why they would do that. As far as spark plugs go, use the plug that the equipment manufacturer recommends that you use. Yes, you can go up or down a number, a B8 to a B7 or a B8 to a B9, but there shouldn't be that much of a difference if there hasn't been some extreme work done to your bike. So as far as resistor caps and resistor plugs go, if we're talking about a vintage bike, I don't understand why you'd even be concerned with that. It's not something you should be concerned with. Use a non-resistor cap and use the plug that the manufacturer recommends. Gerald Mauricio, why did Japanese manufacturers use codes for the factory bikes such as Honda RC, Kawasaki SR, Suzuki RN, and Yamaha OW? Well, I talked to Terry Good about this, and who's got more factory bikes than he does. I talked to Terry about this, and he said the R generally meant racer. That's all it really, really meant. I also asked Mark Hildebrand about Kawasaki's factory effort, and they called their bike an SR. Mark said it was for special racer. The one thing I couldn't get an answer on from Terry Good, and we went back and forth on this in a few different text messages, was why OW for Yamaha? Terry couldn't tell me why at the time. And he said he was going to ask someone, he would get back to me. But I'll tell you what I'll do. If somebody can tell me right now, and it checks out, why Yamaha used the letters OW, I'm going to send you a nice ball cap from AMSOIL. Anybody that can come up with the right answer, type it in. We'll check into it a little bit later. We'll verify it that it's true. Tell me why Yamaha factory bikes were termed OW, and I'll mail you out an AMSOIL hat. Gerald, thanks for the question. What's it worth? 1977 Husqvarna CR125. This was sent in by my friend Lamar Zell earlier this week. Actually, I saw it on the Buyers and Sellers Price Guide page, and I contacted Lamar, who's a Jersey guy, an East Coast guy, and he tells me that he purchased this bike for $1,000. I thought it was a screaming deal, and I'll tell you why. The only thing that doesn't appear original about the bike to me are the rear shocks. I don't know what it has on there right now, but I don't think the rear shocks are original. Other than that, it seems that the handlebars are original, and as I got a closer look at things, the wear and tear on the bike didn't seem to be very bad at all. Here's a picture of it. Oh, and of course the most important thing, Lamar did mention to me that the bike shifts, it starts easily, that there's no problem with it. The only thing that it really needs is some rear wheel bearings. Jordan, here's that little 125 mil that sits in that frame that always looked a little stout to me, sitting in that frame. It looks like the frames for these Huskies of this era, they were all about the same size, whether it was for a 125, a 250, or a 360. But looking at the wear on the cases and on the frame, the way it looks, it doesn't look like a very high hour or a very abused bike at all. I love that disc sprocket on the back of the little CR125s. And you know, while the shocks are wrong on the back, those are Marzocchi shocks. And with Lamar paying only $1,000 for this bike, I'm thinking he can get about 25% of his money back, $250 on those shocks alone, and find some kern nuts or find some other things that would be period correct for that bike. I think they were Girlings on that bike originally, or Bogue. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. Anyway, the pipe's a little rusty, but it doesn't look bad. The chrome looked great on the forks. The rims, I don't see any tire marks on them. Lamar, I want to thank you for sending this bike in to us. And you know what? I did a little research. Correct bars on this bike too, which I loved. Next slide, Jordan. Next one. This bike right here, about 18 months ago, sold in Florida. And it sold for like $1,600. Somebody bought it, took the bike, and just spruced it up a little bit. They changed the shocks, did a little work on it, added the number plates, and in the next picture, this bike went for sale on eBay a short time after that and sold for $3,200. Now, Lamar, I'll tell you what. I think with a little detailing, if you wanted to, your bike is just as clean as this one is. And I think you got a really good deal at $1,000, and I think it's worth at least $2,500, probably closer to $3,000, depending on when you get done with the bike and being all detailed out. Lamar, thanks for sending your bike in, and now we know what's it worth. And that was brought to you by AMSOIL. Speaking of AMSOIL, we had a special going on, and some people ordered some AMSOIL products last week. What we had here they are right in the picture. Leave the camera right where it is, Jordan. There was a sample box that Russell Waters put together and the people at AMSOIL. You had a quarter 10W40, or your choice, whatever weight you want. The mudslinger, the chain lube, the octane boost, the funnel, the stickers, you get it all. Now, average retail, suggested retail, is $88.40 from AMSOIL. Show special, because AMSOIL is a great sponsor of the show. They're giving us shirts, they're sending us a lot of products. You can get this for 44% off. $49.99, shipping included to your door. And while I'm here, I'm going to stay on it. Let's just park here for just a second, Jordan, and I'll tell you why. Sal Scarpa III, who happens to be a viewer of the show, he's always got some kind of question or some kind of comment to send in. He ordered this package from AMSOIL last week after we had it on special. He said when it got there, there were 2 items missing from the box for whatever reason. There's distributors in every state. There's a dealer in every state. So he gets in touch with Russell Waters. The next day, the 2 items that were supposed to be in the box were there. The day after that, there was another box sent to Sal by Russell Waters with some other goodies in it, compliments. Last couple of weeks, one of them that I really like is this stuff right here. Foam Power. I used it the other day with an air box. I was cleaning out one of my race bikes. I took the filter out, and sure enough, in there from the oil, from gas backfiring or spitting out of the carburetor, whatever it is, it gets kind of messy in there. And you know, what do you spray in there to kind of get it out? Well, this is the stuff right here. It's called Foam Power. It's designed for, it says carburetor and induction cleaner system. But do I listen to that? No, I don't. I want to try it and I want to see where it works someplace else. So I took it, sprayed it in the air box. It came out really, really clean, really, really nice. So this is another product from AMSOIL I am recommending that you try. What else you got there from AMSOIL? Oh, and if you want it, all you have to do to get that special is go to AMSOILplus at AOL.com. AMSOILplus at AOL.com. You can use your PayPal, and they'll get you out a box right away of the special. I don't know how many more weeks this is going to go on with this special. There'll be other ones in the future, but this one really, really is, it's really nice because It really applies to the dirt bike guys. And also, you know, I wanted to point this out too. This AMSOIL octane booster, this little guy right here treats up to 15 gallons of race gas to make it a higher octane. So you can get pump gas, and this will pump the numbers up to by 4. It says right here. So if you got 96 at your pump at your local station, you get it up to 100. If you got 98, maybe your Sunoco stations out east, you'll go from 98, you'll go to 102. AMSOIL with the octane boost, great product. Thanks again, Russell and AMSOIL. Trivia. This is the time you want to get near a phone. So if you're on your phone, grab somebody else's phone. And you're going to be getting a question from me in just a moment. This, of course, is sponsored by Preston Petty Products. Preston Petty, well, look, there's no time to talk about Preston Petty right now. We're going to get back and talk more about their product in just a minute because I want to give you the question for tonight's trivia. Yankee motorcycles were delivered with what brand of tire on them? Yankee motorcycles. If you're under 58 years old, I'm wondering, unless you're a real enthusiast, if you're going to know the answer to this question. But I'm going to say this. In this picture is a huge clue to what brand of tires came on this Yankee when they were delivered. You can call in right now at 925-234-8181. Susie is standing by. 925-234-8181. What kind of tires were delivered on a Yankee motorcycle when they were new? In the product spotlight, we are now talking about Preston Petty, that's for sure. Vintage Motocross Q&A is a authorized dealer for Preston Petty products. Anything you see on their website, you can order right there through the Preston Petty website. And here's the great thing, and it's a special that we're running this week. Everything that Preston Petty makes, everything that you see on their website, whether it's rear mudders, integrated taillights, the front number plate with the light in it, their grips, 20% off everything across the board on their website. Everything. That's happening from right now till midnight Friday night. 20% on everything. Not 20% off shipping, 20% off any product that's on there. You have to inbox me for the code though. Inbox me here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. I will give you the code, so when you check out, you put the coupon code in, you get 20% off from the great people at Preston Petty Products. I'm guessing that trivia contest was a little tough. I thought we'd have somebody, we thought we'd have Susie in here by now with the answer to that. So let's go to the commercial break, and maybe during that time, somebody will come in with the answer.
Classic and vintage dirt bikes are more than a hobby. It's not just about the ride. It's about the work that goes in. The work that keeps you connected to the ride. It's about bringing the bike back to life and doing it with your own hands. It's about the adrenaline and adventure. And when it comes to putting all the pieces together, only Vmxq knows the bikes and parts the way you do. Vmxq. Keep the ride going.
All right, we're back live. The trivia question was, Yankee motorcycles were delivered with what brand of tires on them? Susie says she has somebody on the phone. We're going to get him here right now. Hi, this is Joe Abadi. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Joe. This is Guy Longwell.
Hey, Guy. Yankee motorcycles were delivered with what brand of tire, Guy?
Full bore.
That's right, Guy Longwell. Full bore tires were on Yankees way back then. Hey, can you tell me who was riding that bike in that picture, too?
Let's see.
That wasn't part of the trivia. I'm just trying. It's actually a Barry. It is Barry Higgins. It is Barry Higgins.
Okay.
So, hey, listen, I want to thank you for calling in, Guy. We're going to get you, what do we give away? Oh, yeah, we give away Preston Petty autographed number plates. Right. So I'm going to put Susie back on the line. She's going to get your address. And I want to thank you, of course, for watching Vintage Motocross Q&A and for calling in. Congratulations.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
All right, Guy.
Great show.
Thank you. AMSOIL. Russell Waters sent me something the other day, and I thought it was a pretty neat item. We've seen them before. It's a tank cover, and it's made of leather, And I tried this thing on several different tanks. I tried it on the Bultaco tank, 74 CR125, 74 CR250, which means it'll fit all those Honda Elsinores from 73 up until 78. It also went in a Bultaco tank. I tried it on a Suzuki TM and an RM tank. So Russell is thinking about making these, okay? And they will attach with like a shoelace thing across the bottom of the tank. They'll wrap around the tank. It'll protect your paint job, give your fiberglass tanks, maybe your aluminum tanks, some additional protection. In that package, Russell is going to include a tank bar like this. Now, they're going to retail for about 40 bucks, somewhere around there. I think he said either 40 or $45. I'm going to put a post up on the page a little later on tonight or tomorrow, and I would like your opinion on what you think about these tank covers that might be available. I mean, it's leather, it's stitched together. The only thing I might recommend is maybe some kind of Velcro attachment as opposed to some kind of cord going underneath the gas tank. But I'll be putting that up on the page a little bit later on. I'd like to hear your feedback on that. Now, to the announcements. Vmxq, they've got a great clutch kit for the 1974 through 78 CR125 MR175, just $59.95. You want to get over to Vmxq.com, you'll get a special all month long on products if you use this code right here, Vmxq&A 320. That's Vmxq.com. We've got a great video of theirs on our website too. I want to thank everybody at Vmxq.com for supporting us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. A couple of weeks ago, there was a race down in Southern California. It was the first one of the year. Wait, I'm a little confused because this one says original. You can get over there. This has become like an international event. Guys come over from Ireland, from Italy, from France, from all over the country, and you usually get some big names there too. Brad Lackey shows up, John DeSoto, even Jaroslav Falter was there one year. So get over there, check out the CZ World Championship race. You'll see a sea of CZs just like this, and that's coming up in April. I hope to see you there. I'll be there. This is what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago too. The Old School Scrambles event is coming up again. This is round 2. It'll be March 29th. That's right around the corner. That'll be at Glen Helen down on the truck track. This is the same event where kids always ride free, and if you're riding the Old School Scrambles event for the first time, if it's your first time there, entry is free. You can't beat that. Go down there, support Tammy and Ralph Greenhill at Glen Helen. Old School Scrambles. It's coming up. Oh, it's Rod Lake who sponsors the kids always riding for free. Rod Lake, very generous. Rod Lake Racing. GTL Metal Polishing. This is my buddy George Lucas out in New Jersey. And he does an amazing job polishing. I showed this to you a couple of weeks ago. He can polish rims, can take them down from a raw look right down to a brush finish if you like it, or a high luster finish. George does a great job. I would highly recommend him. Now what I like about George is he's not just another polishing guy. While he does polish amazing trim for some of the most amazing cars you've ever seen, he's a vintage motocross guy too. So when you send him something to be polished, it's going to come back with the right finish, what you'd expect on your bike. GTL Metal Polishing, George Lucas. They're on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's got a website, www.gtlmetalpolishing.com. FastGuyStuff.com. I want to thank Sean Gomes again for supplying us with the great sticker packages that we're able to give people who send in bikes every week for the Moto Showcase. But FastGuyStuff.com, it's not just about the stickers they give away here on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Go visit them at their website. They've got an array of stickers, some things that are really, really great you haven't seen in a long time. Make your bike look really cool. Thanks, Sean Gomes. We're still looking for sponsors for Vintage Motocross Q&A. If you've got a business out there and you want to reach some people that are in the Vintage Motocross community, you can send me a message in my inbox. I'll be happy to send you a proposal. Vmxq's doing it. Preston Petty Products is doing it. AMSOIL is doing it. GTL Metal Polishing. These guys are seeing results from the show here. Now, it's not only the people that watch it live on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, it's how many people see this show over the next week. Last week, we looked at our stats for the last 28 days. We reached over 100,000 people, up from 78,000 last month. 100,000 people. Think about 100,000 sets of eyes on your product. get a hold of me at Vintage Motocross Q&A, inbox me. I'll get you a proposal package. We can custom tailor something that's perfect for you. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thanks for the questions, and I hope I can see you all here next week. Right now, I got to run out to the mall. I got to get some things. So I got to get ready for that because, you know, I watch the news a lot, and being I got to go out to the mall, Jordan. I don't want to take any chances out there. You know what I mean? I watch the news, and I see there's all these things going on in society, and